Exercise has nothing to do with fat loss. It never has.
Boy, we're up close to the camera, aren't we? I'm gonna back up, and maybe you should too, considering that you said exercise doesn't have anything to do with fat loss. That's really wrong. It doesn't play as big of a part as people think, but nothing at all?
It's a myth perpetrated by the food industries, because when you exercise, you eat more.
I don't know, man. This seems like a weird conspiracy theory. Maybe I'm grabbing the wrong food items, but I've never been inspired to go to the gym by the label on a box of mac and cheese. The only sprinting that Taco Bell ever encouraged me to do was to the bathroom. I hate that you put me in a position where I'm defending giant food companies, but frankly, I don't think they really care whether you work out or not. Unless you're growing your own food on a farm, you're gonna buy food from them either way.
You're an obese person and you need to be losing weight. Exercise ain't it.
As an anti-diet culture coach, I also don't think that people should be exercising just to lose fat. Exercise is great for a lot of things, but it's not a great fat loss tool. Saying that it doesn't have anything to do with fat loss is categorically false, but people should be using it as a form of physical and mental self-care and not relying on it to drive aesthetic change.
That being said, you should exercise. Everyone should exercise. Exercise is one of the most beneficial things you can do, and you should do it pretty much most days.
Fantastic. Glad we got that cleared up.
There's no incentive for personal trainers or gyms or the entire fitness industry as a whole to tell you this, because that's how they make their money, is by telling you to exercise with the assumption that you would lose weight. It's fucking stupid.
It would be a lie to say that the fitness industry doesn't profit off of people's desperation to lose weight. It absolutely does. That's not a secret, right? And every gym out there and most personal trainers are going to tell you that you should exercise if you want to lose weight. You don't have to, but you should. The good ones, like moi, will be transparent from the start and tell you that your nutrition is always going to be the primary driver of fat loss and that exercise should only be a small piece of the puzzle. But it's a piece nonetheless, and when you exercise for the right reasons, it can become a really valuable tool.
Just do basic math and you'll figure this out. So walking a mile or running a mile burns about the same amount of calories, so it's about 100 calories. So if you needed to lose 1 pound of fat, that's going to be about 35 miles. Said another way, that's a marathon and a half. Marathon and a half.
First of all, you just explained how exercise could impact fat loss.
Exercise has nothing to do with fat loss.
And besides that, you're ignoring a whole lot of other factors when it comes to burning fat, namely your metabolism. Let's use your example of someone trying to lose 1 pound. Now, there's going to be some numbers in here, but stick with me. They don't need to exercise off 3,500 calories, which is the amount of calories that are in 1 pound. The majority of those calories are going to be burned off by their body's basal metabolic rate, just by them existing. You have to also account for the food that they eat that day, but with moderate portions and a slight calorie deficit, let's say 300 to 500 calories, they should lose 1 pound of fat in a week without having to run 35 miles.
What's another way you could lose the same amount of weight? Oh, if you just didn't eat for 36 hours and you did a 1-day fast. So a 36-hour fast is a 1-day fast. It means you go to sleep hungry, so you get more than 24 hours of fast time. It's the same amount of calories burned.
How stupid of me to think that we were going to have a reasonable conversation. Of course, we're going to be talking about fasting.
It's the exact same amount of calories burned.
First, you can't say that running 35 miles is going to burn 3,500 calories. That's entirely dependent on the person. And the same goes for fasting. And most people, unless they're extremely overweight or extremely active, are not going to burn 3,500 calories. And even if you did, your body isn't going to just drop a pound of fat in a single day. Now look, fasting probably isn't going to hurt your body if you do it for a day. But do you want to know what usually happens when people fast for 36 hours? They get really fucking hungry, and they usually end up overeating, sometimes more than they would have if they had just eaten the day prior. Fasting oftentimes is a planned restrict and binge cycle. Not only that, it forces you to ignore the hunger and fullness cues that your body naturally sends. And if you're overweight, chances are you already have a hard time recognizing those. Fasting is going to make it worse. In my opinion, you're setting yourself up for failure long term.
But it doesn't require you to run super far, sign up for a marathon, train for a marathon, buy all the food associated with a marathon, get on a meal plan, get a personal trainer, all that shit. It's just something you could do on any given day.
This is what's called a false dichotomy. You don't have to run a marathon, hire a trainer, get on a meal plan, etc., or starve yourself for an entire day. Those are not your only two options. You could also find a middle ground that works for you.
But that wouldn't be beneficial to any sort of food company or fitness group, because that's way fucking easier and way less expensive.
Wait. Isn't this you? You sell weight loss programs. And that's fine if you're qualified, but it's just weird that you're shitting all over trainers and gyms for profiting when you're doing the same thing.
Not to mention, you then get all of the benefits of doing a fast. So you de-age yourself, you increase your life expectancy, you heal your organs, and you make your stomach shrink, which is also beneficial for losing weight.
None of those claims are supported by human research. Fasting doesn't de-age you or heal your organs, though your stomach might feel smaller because there's no food in it for a day and a half.
But what about muscle wasting? They all yell from the back because they've been trained like rats by people to think that if you don't eat food, your muscles are going to waste away. Your testosterone increases to prevent muscle wasting.
No, you're not going to lose muscle mass by fasting for a day, and I hope that you're not planning on fasting any more than that, so this shouldn't be a concern at all, right? However, muscle loss does happen to people when their glucose and fat stores are depleted. Your body will eventually cannibalize muscle, and I'm not sure why you're talking about it like atrophy isn't a real thing.
Thinking that your muscles will waste away if you don't have food and you're an obese person is stupid. There's no reason to think that would ever happen. And in fact, your body actively works against it by doing things like increasing your testosterone by a fuckload in order to retain lean muscle mass. In addition to this, when you reconsume food after a 36-hour fast, your testosterone and growth hormone skyrocket again because now you have won the day.
You've won the day? Is that the scientific explanation?
And if you just simply pair exercise with fasting, you've now created a scenario where your body is healing itself, losing a shitload of fat, and encouraging extreme amounts of muscle growth.
Any rise in testosterone or HGH is an acute response to starvation. It's simply your body's way of preserving muscle. It's not going to translate to anything significant in your body, and you definitely cannot describe it as extreme amounts of muscle growth. No.
The problem is there is literally no financial incentive there for food industry.
Do I need to... Come on.
And if everyone was told tomorrow that if you just did fasts, you'd get healthier, the entire fucking economy would crash.
No, it wouldn't. You think the stock market is built on Crunch memberships?
But I'm a moron.
Your words, not mine.